5 nutrition mistakes and what to do to avoid them. Number 1, not knowing the fundamentals. What are the calories, macronutrients, micronutrients, fibers, and so on. So calories are units of energies that are used in nutrition to show us how much energy we receive from a certain food. Every food has a certain amount of calories, and we all know that when we are in a calorie surplus, we gain weight. When we are in a caloric deficit, we lose weight. The macronutrients. Now we know that we have the calories, which is the main part. Now we need to see where those calories are coming from. We have proteins, we have carbohydrates, and we have fats. Carbohydrates and proteins have 4 calories per gram, the fats have 9 calories per gram, and alcohol has 7 calories per gram. Even though alcohol is not a macronutrient, it's good to put it out there because a lot of people have no idea how many calories alcohol has. After that we have the micronutrients, which are vitamins and minerals. Now we know that we have fruits, we have vegetables, even in meat we have vitamins and minerals, and we can also take them as a form of supplement. Then we have the fibers, which can be found in different food sources, for example like avocado. It has a great source of fibers, other type of vegetables. The fibers help us with the digestion and it also slows it down. If we want to have more satiety during the day, it's important to introduce more fibers into our diet. Mistake number 2, not counting the calories and the macros. Now let me give you an example. Let's say that you want to put on muscle mass, you want to bulk up. How do you know how many calories do you have? How do you know if you're in a caloric surplus or not if you're not counting the calories, if you're not measuring your food? Every day it's important to be in a caloric surplus, 300 to 500 calories surplus, but if I don't know how much food I have in my plate, it will be hard to know how many calories I have as a surplus. On the flip side, the same thing. If I want to lose fat, I want to be in a caloric deficit, but if I don't know how much I have in my plate, if I don't measure the food, if I just eat chaotic, it will be impossible to measure the calories. When it comes to macronutrients, ideal as a bodybuilder, if you want to put on muscle mass, 2.2 grams or 1 gram per pound, 2.2 grams per kilogram, 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein. But like I said before, if I don't measure the food, I have no idea how many proteins do I have in my diet. So it's important to measure the food to know exactly how much I have in my plate and overall how much I have in a day. For fats, the same thing. Ideal 1 gram per kilogram. So in my case, 85 kilos, I need maximum 85 grams of fat, but if I don't measure them, I don't know. So if you're not seeing progress so far and you don't know why, start with this change, start to measure your food, know exactly how much do you have in a day. Mistake number 3, not sticking with the deficit or with the surplus. Let's say that your goal is to lose fat, but you have 2 good days, 1 bad day, 3 good days, 2 bad days, and so on. You're back and forth. Well, this will lead to an inconsistency and you will not reach your goals as soon as you can. It's important that every day you're in a caloric deficit, or if you want to put on muscle, you're in a caloric surplus, and you stick with that. If you decide to lose fat, then every day you have to be in that deficit. You need to be consistent with it. If it happens to have 1 cheat meal per week, you know, it's okay, or 1 bad day, that's fine. But 95%, 98%, you need to stick with the diet. We need to stick with the plan. Imagine that you want to build a house, and 1 day or 2 days you go and put brick by brick, and then 2 days you go and damage the bricks and you take them out, you go again the next days, put some bricks. So it's just back and forth. You are not making progress, definitely not as fast as you should. So stick with the diet. Mistake number 4, thinking that all the calories are created equal. Well, in fact, they are not at all. We know already that we have bad foods, we have processed foods, we have foods that don't give us any satiety, we don't have any macronutrients in there, there's no fiber, and after a couple of hours we are very hungry again. When we are choosing, for example, to have a breakfast in which we have cereals and we have sweet stuff, these unfortunately are empty calories that do not give us any satiety, and after a half an hour or an hour we are very hungry again. We have this insulin spike, this boost of energy, and then we crash. So it's important to have a full meal in which you have whole foods, foods that are rich in protein, rich in fibers, a lot of micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, and that give you that satiety level. Instead of having a breakfast in which you have cereals or sweet stuff like croissant and so on, try to choose eggs, avocado, vegetables, even bread, whole bread. Try to go more towards the whole food, and you will feel way better and you will have better results. Mistake number 5. Cheating on the diet way too often. Now I go back to the people that want to lose fat because Here is the problem. It's more problematic than for people like me, how I was skinny and I was bulking. It was hard for me to put on weight, so I was cheating more often. For people who want to lose fat, if you have, like I said, 2 good days and then you have a lunch with friends or dinner with friends and so on, and you cheat on your diet, you have snacks in between the meals that are bad snacks, this is not ideal at all. You need to stick with the diet, and if it happens that, for example, on a Saturday you have a dinner with your friends, okay, have it, enjoy it, but go immediately afterwards back to your routine, back to your diet. If this becomes a routine and every other day you cheat on your diet and you have more calories, we go back to the previous point, like I said, with the house example, you're not going to be consistent with it, and results, they're going to be slowed down. So stay in a caloric deficit, don't have too many cheat meals, and you will have better results. Now on the flip side, like I said, how I was before, I started at 48 kilograms, I was very skinny. Nothing was sticking on my body, so it was a disaster. It was so hard for me to put on weight. So for those type of people, and also I have clients that are like this, I advise them to have cheat meals more often and help with those extra calories. So instead of having all day long chicken with rice and vegetables, try to implement more stuff that are way more caloric dense. Don't be afraid of some bread, pasta, even a pizza from time to time. Have some burgers, it's okay. Don't have it like all day long. Don't create this like the foundation of your diet, but it's okay if you are a hard gainer to introduce these cheat meals way more often than someone who has a hard time losing fat. Bonus tip, mistake number 6, you're comparing yourself to others, you're comparing your diet to someone else. You see that someone else can eat certain foods and you cannot, and you still don't lose fat or do not gain weight. Don't compare yourself. We are different, we have different body types, we have different weight, we have different backgrounds, so don't do that to yourself. Like I said, you might be a person that has a very hard time to lose fat and it's a struggle, and see someone like me that eats like a horse the entire day and it's very hard to put on weight, and you're like, how is this possible? Why can I eat that? And you feel frustrated. So do not do that. We are different, we have different metabolism, different activity levels. So yeah, it's just gonna be really hard for you if you compare yourself to others. Stick with your plan and yeah, do the adjustments that you need. Stay in a caloric surplus or a deficit depending on your goal, and you're gonna succeed. Just because I'm a nice guy, let's go with the second bonus tip, number 7, not knowing how many calories you actually need. Let's put this graphic up here somewhere again because it's a really nice one. So down here, as you can see, the biggest part is the BMR, the basal metabolic rate. This is how much our body consumes just to stay alive. So the organs and the muscles. Like I always preach, the more muscle mass we have, the more calories just from the BMR we will burn. So someone with a higher percentage of muscle tissue will burn way more calories just by standing, even sleeping, because that muscle is an active tissue and it needs calories to stay on our body. This is why I always preach that the weight workouts and a diet higher in protein is very important to build more muscle mass and have the BMR way higher. Then the second part is something that is called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is what I'm doing right now, moving around, staying on my feet, washing dishes, filming, walking, doing groceries. This is an activity, but it's not an exercise. So for someone who sits on the desk the entire day, goes to work with a car, comes back and it's a couch potato, it will not burn a lot of calories, maybe 200 calories from NEAT. But let's say someone like me, who I wake up and I go by foot to work, and then I'm the entire day on my feet because I'm a coach and I move weights for my clients and I'm training, I may burn 1,000 calories from my NEAT. So the difference is huge from someone who sits all day long and someone who's very active. Someone who's in the construction working might be burning 2,000 calories a day. So NEAT can make a huge difference. Then we have something that is called TEF, the thermogenic effect of food. If we have a diet that is higher in protein, the protein has to be broken down by the body, so the body will burn more calories in order to break down all that protein. So you have also some calories burned in that. So the last point, as you can see, 5 to 15%, it's the exercise, as you can see, is just the tip of the iceberg. So the bulk is down here where you have the BMR, and this is how we calculate our calories. So you'll have to know your BMR. Usually it's 1 calorie per kilogram per 24 hours. In my case, I'm 85 kilograms times 24. It will be around 2040 calories. Obviously, there are other more precise formulas, but this is a very easy way to do it. Now for the NEAT, you will have to estimate because it's almost impossible to calculate exactly. But if you're a very sedentary person, you're around 200 calories a day. If you're super active, like a construction worker, you can be 1,500 calories a day. So in my example, let's say it's around 800 calories, I would say 800 calories. So 2000 BMR, 700 NEAT. Then I have another, let's say 200 calories from the TEF. I'm at 2.9 already. And then I have the exercise, which is around 400 calories. So I will be around 3.3 to 3,300 calories just to maintain my weight. What this means, from this point, I know if I want to put on muscle, if I want to have a bulking phase, I will need an extra 300, 400 calorie surplus. So 3.6, 3.7. And if I want to be in a deficit, I will have to be like 3,000 calories to start. So as you can see, this is how you calculate your calories and see, okay, this is what I need. This is my point, my maintenance point. What should I do from now on? As you can see, guys, the nutrition is really not that complicated. You need to learn the foundation, what are the calories, the macros, and so on. You need to see what's your goal in the first place and how many calories do you need to sustain your body weight. From that point, you just have to know how many calories you're in a surplus or a deficit and where those calories are coming from. So I hope this video helped you guys. If you want some more nutrition videos, you can check them up here. Thanks again for watching and see you next time. Ciao.